Welcome to Bourbon Taste-Offs, playoff brackets of the best whiskeys. Join us in our season-long quest to find our tastiest bourbon. Hello, welcome to Bourbon Taste-Offs. This is episode number 15. We are tasting weekly winners, and we're going to find out which weekly winner is going to take the monthly winner title. We had Finished In, which was Angel's Envy rum cask. Then we had two parties at Dan's, where we picked out Four Roses, and we picked out Blanton's. Yeah. And then we had a Basil Hayden tasting, which we figured out all Basil Haydens are 80 proof. So they're pretty mild. I'm sure, one of these is a Four Roses, like 115 proof, and one of them is a Basil Hayden 80 proof. When we taste them, it's going to be like, oh. We'll notice. Yeah. And so we are your hosts. I'm Todd. We got Joe. We've got Adam, and we have Bekah. And I really appreciate you guys coming out. It's been a while since we released an episode. Just it's Wisconsin. The weather's better, and people have been just really busy, not able to make it. So I really appreciate everybody coming and making it.
Yeah,
glad to be here.
Yeah. Thanks for having
us. Let's just go around the table and just kind of talk about your experience in bourbon. I know, Joe, we plan on having an episode after this, outside, hoping that turns out okay.
Yeah.
We've had episodes together at Dan's, and just kind of give an example of, your experience with bourbons.
Oh, okay. Well, I always enjoy just different whiskeys and everything else in that kind of category, and getting into bourbon over scotches and stuff seems to be a little bit more versatile. There's a lot of different flavors and everything else that comes through everything. So it's really nice to be able to compare and contrast and go through everything. So that's something that me and my wife enjoy doing on a fairly regular basis. And it does help a lot that she's very into it as well. So, but bourbon in general is it's really cool. Everybody in the distillery areas always seem to be like, oh, we're the first to do this, we're the oldest for that, and it's fun to hear the history about it just as much as it is to drink the whiskey. So.
Yeah, and you definitely retain the information you get, because at the previous episodes you really showed your knowledge about bourbon, and so you do have from my point of view, you do have a history of your knowledge of bourbon and a fascination for it, which is cool.
It's really interesting to me. I don't know why. It's one of those weird things you pick up and you're like, oh, I enjoy this. So
yeah,
it works out.
I think it's cool that they changed the rules for bourbon, and you don't have to make it in Kentucky anymore. And I don't know, it's cool that there's different casks finished, and it's not just there's we were talking about the double oaked, and there's the Cabernet cask and the sherry cask, and how those different flavors will come through when they try, adjusting their recipe. And everybody's got their mash bill, so trying different mash bills and knowing, oh, there's a little more corn in here, or I'm tasting more barley. I don't know, it's just such a versatile beverage that it just outweighs.
You're absolutely right. There's so many opportunities and options to have a bourbon. They can't put additives in it. They can't put flavors in it. But they can decide to age it longer. Yeah. They can have a different mash bill. They can use a pot still, a column still. They've got all these different things that they can just mix it all up, where it's almost an infinite number of possibilities of being different.
And you start mixing in different types of grains. You have different kinds of corn, you have different kinds of rye, different kinds of malt, different kinds of everything. And you can really start critiquing small different changes that do, especially after sitting in a barrel for 4+ years, starts to really come out and shine differently, which is really,
That's an excellent point, because you're right. It has to be corn, rye, wheat, or barley. However, there's different types of corn. You can have red corn, the yellow corn, sweet corn, whatever. So that's an excellent point. Joe, what's your experience with?
I have little experience. I have my couple favorites that I've kind of gravitated to over the years, but I have not gotten into it to the level that you and some of your friends have. But it's interesting, I like to smoke a cigar and have a nice bourbon from time to time. And just listening to the others here talk about, all the nuances, I know this is going to sound a little weird, but just throwing it out there. It's like cheese, right? There's so many different, types of cheese and how long it's aged. So I'm thinking that way, where to me, it sounds like there's similarities to that.
Sure.
Right? Now cheese, obviously they can put a lot of other stuff in it, but you start looking into that, it's a whole different world. And I look at the bourbon world that way. There's just so many different options and nuances and
you
just
mentioned
great.
that you're a cigar smoker. I mean, it's kind of the same with that. It's very nuanced where it's like you're not inhaling the smoke. You're just like taking it in, let your taste buds taste it, and all sorts of different type of leaf. It creates just different profiles, and same is true with whiskey. I think.
I
Bourbon.
think what you'll find is, I mean, how often do you go to a cigar lounge and just somebody asks you what's your favorite cigar, and you kind of like, well, I don't have just one. Like,
Sure.
I like
Right.
multiples.
Situationally, it changes differently.
Absolutely.
It's different if you're sitting on the front porch in the summer versus, it's winter and I'm playing poker with the boys. It's a different situation.
And some people will try something that I would recommend, and then they were like, that's terrible. I don't like that. And I think bourbons are the same way. Like, what you might like, I'm going to go, no thanks.
100% agree with that. And that's why it's great to have other points of view. When we do these tastings, it's more than just one person just in front of a camera going, this is what's great and this one isn't, where other people are like, you're so wrong. Like, this is how I feel about it, which is neat to have everybody else's,
and your palate versus mine.
Correct.
Like, I'll smell or taste this, and you're like, don't get that. But it's sometimes like you'll get something like on the nose, and you're like, man, like I recognize this, I know this, what is it? And then somebody else in the room will say, yeah, it's butterscotch. And you're like, oh, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. I just couldn't figure it out, so thank you. And being new to bourbon is exciting because you'll develop your palate over trying. Like, being here now, you're gonna try 4.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's exciting.
It is really
You're
cool.
welcome, newbies, oldies, whatever you want to call it.
Exactly, and that's why.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm a newbie. I'm just
No,
I've
but-
not ventured out to the scope that some others. I'll sit at the bar and have a cigar, and I'll watch people just go, okay, I'll try that one. And I'm like, I can't even keep them straight because there's so many. There's so many. It's
You almost
just
need a
crazy.
note card to take down with you. You can start writing down the ones that you do like, and just so you can keep track of them.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, welcome to the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Ruh-roh.
Yep. Well, let's get drinking. We're going to try these. Again, these are all weekly winners. We'll have Bekah pick a number to see what goes against number 1.
This one.
It's going to be number 2.
Okay.
That makes it easy.
Yeah, we don't even have to change the glass order here.
Perfect.
And again, these are all previous weekly winners. So they're all already stood up on their own, being just good quality. And it's neat that you two were part of the tasting on a couple of these.
Yeah.
That you were responsible for them actually being here, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to give this a try.
Getting a lot of brown sugar on one.
I get vanilla, I get oak, I get brown sugar.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting that sweet too, which knowing what the options are, I might know what this is, but we'll see.
Yeah, I got sweetness there too.
There's a nice spice on the finish.
Yes, there is.
There is. I'm picking up I think like maple syrup.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
See that for sure. I think some of it too is like I'm just waking up my taste buds right now.
Sure. Yeah.
They went from breakfast to coffee to bourbon. So like they're trying to like, what did we just do?
What's going on here? Yeah.
And
No,
I don't know if anybody else feels it, but again, being the newbie, it's hanging around. Like it is there and it's staying there.
Yep.
Like it's not clearing.
Yeah. And again, I think that might be what Adam is saying is that it's like it's the first drink of the day where it's like you're just waking up to it. And I'm a firm believer that you cannot truly taste a bourbon by just one sip. You have to taste it again because you're just waking your mouth up.
I agree.
You know?
Well, and two, the longer it sits and aerates, sometimes you can help pull different things in and out of it.
Yeah. Excellent point.
I think, did you mention vanilla?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I get a really
I even
strong
could smell it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Almost like Madagascar vanilla extract.
Not as much as a rum
No.
by any stretch of the means, but it's definitely there.
Well, one of the options here is finished in rum casks.
Ooh.
So
If you got it right, I'm going to...
you might have picked that up. So that's pretty impressive.
Okay.
And we do want to save some for if this moves on.
Darn.
I know, right? It's like I just want to finish it.
That was delicious.
It is delicious, isn't it?
That's fabulous.
It is.
Okay, now that somebody mentioned rum cask, right?
Yeah. You picking it up?
Yes.
You think that's the one?
I do.
I would think so too.
I really do.
Which, even if we know what it is, I still don't want bias into it. You know, it's just
for
about
sure.
what we really like.
No, because
So
you mildly mentioned what was in here.
I did, yes.
We talked about the different episodes, but
And everything being like ones that we all pick through. So like
I don't know for sure,
we've
and I'm
tried
trying
these
to
in the
ignore that.
past.
Right.
So,
Well, I might as well. Yeah, that's a good point. Let's just tell everybody what it is. So there's Angel's Envy rye, finished in a rum cask. There's a Blanton's in here. There's a Four Roses barrel strength, which is a special Four Roses single barrel, which we've talked about that in the past. You know, it's not easy to find. Dan keeps saying it's really easy to find, but
He's a liar.
It's not.
some people are
You're
just
such
really
a
lucky.
liar.
It's crazy. Some people are just
You're a
lucky. They
liar.
walk in and
Right.
there's always one there.
It's like, yeah, it's like it's so easy for me to find. I don't know why you guys can't find.
I know.
And then the last one was a Basil Hayden rye 10-year.
Okay.
But
But
again,
we don't know what order they're in.
we don't know what order it's in. We all kind of think we know what the first one was, just based on that information.
I'm going to bring it up again. I don't think that's Blanton's, but Blanton's surprises me because every single stinking bottle is completely different.
right,
So
yeah,
you
like-
never
You're right.
know.
You're right. They're single barrel. Yep.
We tried yours and then we tried Dan's and then
Yeah.
we went back home both times and tried ours and we're like, why is ours so drastically different? And we're looking at like where in the rick house it's sitting.
That's right. You did.
I was trying to figure
Yeah,
out.
Yeah.
you had
The
that theory
height and
where it's
everything.
aged.
Yeah.
That's right. Did you figure anything out with that?
Not yet. We
I
gotta
thought ours
have
was,
more.
Was like Rick was the fourth level.
Yeah, it was a lower
It
level.
was a lower level.
So maybe the higher levels are maybe better. Are you saying that the
I think
ones
the higher
that
levels
Dan and
are
I
better.
have are
Are
better?
better, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. We ready for two?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go to 2. It's got a different nose for sure.
Very much so.
I screwed up. I didn't smell it first. I just dove right in.
Dove right in. It's
I'm
like,
wait, hold on. What am I doing?
this is a tasting, right? It's not a nosing?
Almost getting some like mint off of it.
Okay. I haven't tasted. Oh, just off the nose?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm terrible with picking things out with my nose.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like on like a wintergreen or a spearmint.
It's absolutely spearmint, not wintergreen.
Like from the garden, not like from gum.
Boy, our noses must suck. Because I didn't get any of that.
Try to swirl it more too. To really
Well, we are older, so our noses
That
are...
is much lower proof.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And based on that, I think I might know what it is.
Yeah.
There's a cherry in there. You
It
get
does
the
have some
tart
good
cherry.
flavors, though.
It does, but
It's
they don't
tart,
last
not-
long.
They don't last,
fade
yeah.
out
They're
quick and-
very...
which is also indicative to a lower ABV.
Sure.
Yep.
No, that's a great point. Yeah, it's fleeting. And I just wanted to use that word because I don't use it very often.
That's a great use of it too. Good job.
Thank you.
Right away, I'm gonna say I like one better.
Yeah, I do
Mm-hmm.
too.
Yeah.
You don't like one better? You
No,
like
I
two
don't.
better?
I like 2.
Oh, do you?
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
I really do.
2 would be considered what a lot of people would say is smoother. It's
That's
more
why.
approachable for someone who's not like barrel proof or
Yeah.
high proof stuff. So
That's a great point.
Totally get it.
Yeah, when you say like it sticks in your throat,
Just hanging.
yeah.
Yep.
If you're a bourbon drinker, that's actually what you want.
Yeah, you,
But if you're not, then I can see it being like, why is it still there? I want it just gone. I want
So
to just
let's
what is that?
bring up the
Kentucky
fact that
hug, right?
right.
well, let's bring up the fact that it's getting warmer. You said people are busy, things are happening. Number one, fall, winter, like cozy, like it's
I'd
cold
agree.
out. I
Fire
want
pit
this,
at
but
the end of the night, it's cooled down in the 60s. You got a hoodie on and the fire's warm. That's
Maybe.
that one, you know. But if you're on the boat fishing, you definitely not drinking a bunch of water.
That's a fantastic point, Bekah. That is pretty cool that you actually kind of pointed that out because you're right. One would be preferred in a certain type of environment where the other one is like a different environment.
yeah.
I mean, this you could have any time of day,
Yeah.
any time of
It's
year.
not all that different from beer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
People in the summer are going to drink lighter beers and, you know.
More stouts and porters in the
Yeah,
winter.
absolutely.
Yeah, no one's looking for a nice, thick chocolate milk stout in July. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not a thing.
Nope.
I agree.
So did you enjoy one at all? Do you think in the right setting you would drink that?
One would hold up better, I think, with one of your cigars.
Probably. I like two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just between the two of them.
That's...
I don't dislike one. I just like two a
Okay,
little
so
bit
you
better.
just-
It's a little smoother for me.
Okay, so from the vote, though, I think we're picking
I like one.
One. Okay. And that's something we didn't talk about yet. We have an even number of people here. We didn't talk about like a tiebreaker
There is no tiebreaker,
thing.
Chewy's the
I'll mess
tiebreaker.
that up. Don't worry.
I guess if we come across it, we'll deal with it then.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, we're going to celebrate number one.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like I
No, right. No.
for me, is
Believe me,
That's why they make
I want you to
different
be honest. I don't want you to follow the crowd. I want you to strictly speak about what your preference is, because that's what this is about.
you know me, Todd.
I do.
But I could actually
Next time, agree with me.
I could absolutely drink something and go, no, like there's no time I would drink this again.
Right.
That was fine.
Yep.
Not for me.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yep. And at the risk of looking dumb, I would probably say that 2 was an 80 proof Basil Hayden.
Yeah.
Just how light it was.
It was very...
Yeah. And then we'll bring out the bottles and I'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe I said
But it's
that.
fun to guess.
You're like,
It is fun to guess.
It's like, that was the Four Roses.
Right.
So,
There's no way that's the Four
I know.
Roses.
Wait a minute. I grabbed the wrong bottle. I messed
Right.
this whole thing up.
All right, so now we're going to 3. Now this one looks darker than 4. I didn't compare any of the other colors.
I was gonna say, I don't know.
Sure does look darker.
Right? So I'm anticipating that this one
Yeah.
this one has some aging to it.
Absolutely.
Let me nose.
There we go.
gonna
Don't go
know.
right to the drink. That smells delicious.
we got more cherry notes. Like dark cherry, fruit notes.
That might be the best smelling one so far.
Yeah.
Wow.
You said your nose doesn't work like that.
Well, it's working now.
It's alive!
It's alive.
And so I already have a guess based on this.
I do
smell.
too.
Me too.
And the color. And the color.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Which is good and bad.
Right.
I
You know,
think I know.
They have a distinct like flavor profile and smell profile. You know, that's
Absolutely.
something everyone's shooting for.
Yep.
So hopefully, I'm pretty sure I think I know what this one is.
Yeah. And we're not going to be biased. We're just going to go off what we enjoy more.
Yeah.
And typically, we get pretty excited about when we think we know what it is.
Right.
Can we get this in a candle?
Oh, that's good.
Oh, whiskey candle. It smells like real whiskey.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
getting like cinnamon.
Okay.
Nice.
I like-
Big time.
I usually get the like from this one. I think it's that you get that like leather, like the smell you get when you walk into like a warm leather car, where it's like the leather's been cooking, or like you sit in a nice big comfy leather chair next to a
Oh.
fire. You know, you get that like in that
I think
smell.
it's funny that you included sun-baked leather.
It's because
That's where
it's
you went.
warm.
Yeah,
It's the, like
heat it
the-
up. It's stretched.
Right,
It's,
right.
I love the fact that you guys are here and you're sharing your experience of it, and you're bringing up things that I would never have thought of, you know. But I agree.
Yeah.
You guys are saying factual, accurate things, and I love that you're able to add to that, you know.
Why are you just looking at them when you say that?
Well, they have experience, you know. Joe, I love that you can smell
I
it.
like this one.
You do.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I do think it's probably the highest proof we've had so
Yeah,
far.
it's got that hanging on, but it's.
We'll call it a Kentucky hug.
Yeah.
It's not quite the burn that you got on one.
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Which could be.
I didn't get a burn on one.
I
though.
think he did though.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering too, because like I said, that was the first one I tried, so it just started waking up everything. So like, did that, take a hit on that or change anything?
Makes sense to maybe try one again later.
Am I?
And we will, because that one advanced, so
Yeah.
it'll go against the winner of these two.
Am I imagining cinnamon in that, or
No,
is anybody else?
no.
Because I've totally.
I get it.
Got cinnamon.
Yeah.
I'm getting like a cinnamon vanilla almost though.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like that sweetness is not a cinnamon sweet. It's more of a comfort, like a bakery type of sweet. to me, which is like a vanilla
Like
almost.
a cinnamon rolly kind of.
And this one,
Yeah,
and this
yeah,
one hangs on, but not
exactly.
as
Where you get
long.
that icing almost on it.
So yeah, cinnamon for me, when it's used as a descriptive word, it's like, okay, so like you said, cinnamon roll,
Yeah.
you know, or like a cinnamon bread,
Right.
like a red hot candy can be
Bingo. Bingo,
and
that's
then-
what I'm getting.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I brought up the
I'm getting
big
more
red
of
gum that
the
one time
I'm
I
getting
got.
more of the not like a hard candy. I'm getting more of the icing cinnamon roll.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That sweetness from it.
Yeah.
Now
Sometimes
that you
that's
said
just the
that,
way-
now that you said that, Big Red
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a
comes
big
to
red
mind
or
right
Okay,
away.
like
Big
the
Red
gum.
Yep.
Big
Yep.
time, yes. And I like it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Typically, that comes with ryes. Ryes are often described as like cinnamon, like Big Red, and the only rye we have in here is the Angel's Envy, which was finished in a rum cask. Is why I think that was number one. This one, I'm kind of thinking it's the Four Roses, just the heat on it. I might be wrong. Like I said, we'll watch this and I'll be like,
Right. Well, I think
why do I
we'll have to
insist on
compare
looking
it.
like an idiot?
Don't look like an idiot.
It definitely the Four Roses definitely was not 2.
Correct.
not.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Definitely lower proof. So I'm going to go on to number 4.
Just him bringing up all 4 of them. Now I'm like, I'm so lost now.
I know, right?
I'm totally just everything. I'm like, hold on, maybe not.
Yeah. This is really kind of cool to have 3 go against 4 because,
This is apple.
yeah, they're both, I think, really good. And it's just really going to come down to preference, I think.
So it's really funny when I'll get Macintosh, he'll get green apple, like a Granny Smith.
Yeah. I think it's like a tart crisp apple flavor that I'm getting usually, and I associate that not quite a Granny Smith because that's more like, as you would say, pinchy, like in the back of your jaw, and I'm not getting that.
That sharp, like,
Yes.
ooh.
Right.
That's it. I'm not getting apple.
I'm
You
not
don't get
either.
apple at
Yeah.
all. Okay. I'm just still on the nose here. I haven't tasted.
And maybe that's why, because I have tasted it.
Okay.
This is going back more to number 1. Just
Too
kind
much.
of
Is it holding?
linger and hold.
Okay.
Spicy maybe is the word. I don't know if that's the right word, but just kind of want to. It just hangs around. It's not bad.
I like to say hot.
Yeah, it's
It's high proof.
yeah, absolutely.
Spice is not, I would say spicy. Spicy works. I understand that.
Right.
I'd be interested to learn if this is the highest proof one. 'Cause
Well,
I
then I'm gonna
sure
really
feel
look like an
it's got
idiot, 'cause I
horsepower.
guess the other one was the highest proof.
Yeah. It's.
I warned it. I warned everybody. I'm going to look like an idiot.
I think it's kind of fun to be able to know, like, okay, these are like from this realm.
Right.
And it'd be cool to have like a note card. We can write down all of our answers before we see them and then compare them and then
Sure.
see like where everything ended up. Because everyone pulls different stuff out
Right.
of everything.
Do you want me to get you guys a notepad and pen?
We could, or I can just do it on my phone too. It'd be kind
I smelled apple, but I don't taste it. And then I said, like, when I get like a sweetness from a bourbon, it's hard for me to pinpoint specifically what kind of sweetness. Like, obviously, if you have a tequila, it's going to be an agave sweetness. But like with bourbon, like, it could be caramel, it could be brown sugar, it could be
Butterscotch.
butterscotch,
Sure.
it could be like.
and it's weird. Even when, like, you get those other ones, you get to the spot where it's
I
like
don't
it's not butterscotch. It's like a Werther's. You
But
know
I
what
don't
I mean?
get
Like
those
a specific.
pinpointed. My palate can't pinpoint.
Well,
that
I think
type
a lot of people
sweetness.
overlook the sweetness that corn provides. Like a bourbon
Right.
has to have 51% or
Right.
more corn, which is a sweeter grain than like a Scotch would use, or
Right.
Well,
even like when you start putting in the different like rye grains, they can get much more spicy
Sure.
than other ones.
Yep.
And if you have a more milder one, then it would change, maybe give you some more like the chocolate or brown sugar
Yep.
notes from that.
Yep.
Which is what we talked about earlier with having the different grains making a large impact of like kind of what your flavor profile is.
Exactly. Yep. And then what the barrel brings out too. It's like, yeah.
Number 4 is kind of falling flat for me. And I
Oh,
don't
is
know
it?
if it's because I've already tried a much bolder one. But Joe mentioned it was
Sticking around.
sticking around for
Which
him,
a flat
so
one wouldn't stick around, right?
I'm not saying it's flat, but for me, it's falling flat. Like,
Okay.
I get a lot more oak from the barrel on 4. I don't know what that means, but I'm getting a lot more like oakiness.
3 really impressed me, and I think that
I just went back to 3,
Yeah.
and I think it's definitely stronger. Like, it definitely like a higher proof.
Yeah. And 4 is not bad, but
No.
I just really enjoyed 3. That
Sure.
I think I'm like, if I had tried this by itself without
Right.
having tried 3 right prior to it, I'd probably enjoy it more.
Right.
To me, this is going to be a tough decision. I really hope that we are more unanimous.
Joe and I are unanimous.
Okay. You already know, based on the
Yeah.
non-verbals or the
when you
verbals.
walked away, I was like, yeah. I
Oh,
know which
okay.
one I like.
Okay.
Do we want to pick one?
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay.
I got 3.
3?
I'm with number 3 as well.
I got 3.
Yeah, I'm with you. So,
And again, it's not like I didn't like 4.
right.
I think these are all very, for me, very drinkable.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
like I wouldn't not drink any of them, but I like 3.
I agree.
Personally, it's hard though when I taste one that I really, really like to like respect another.
Sure.
It's like I've already had something so great.
Yeah.
I
Right.
can't even
Right.
acknowledge it for what it is.
Right.
But I think if you had like 4 on its own, you'd be like, I really
Yes.
like this. Like,
Yes.
this is
Yeah.
something I can hang out
Which
with.
means-
And
Going 1 versus 3 is going to be really hard.
yeah.
Yeah. I also think that 1 versus 3 is going to be tricky just because they're both very bold flavors
Right.
on it. So it's going to be like more which one you feeling today kind of maneuver.
I agree. Well, we're going to bring out the loser bottles just to talk about them. And so that was bottle number 2 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
So even numbers suck today. We're back with the bottles.
So one of the finalists is the 4 Roses then.
Right.
Yeah,
How
the
do-
2
how do you- how do
finalists
y'all
is
feel
Angel's
about
Envy
that?
and 4 Roses.
How do you all feel about that?
Well, I remember we
kinda
really
thought that's
liked
where we
the
would
Four
be.
Roses
I-
last time.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I don't know if you've seen the episodes or not, but the episodes that these 2 were in, it was at Dan's house, and it was a party, and we had like 8 bourbons
It was a
all at once.
big flight.
And we were trying to make episodes out of it, so it was a challenge. However, we had like 8 different bourbons, and we all thought that, I mean, in one episode the Blantons won, and in another episode the 4 Roses won. However, people were giving hints thinking like the 4 Roses would have taken it all.
Right.
And now it's showing that it beat the Blantons. We don't know if it will beat the other one.
Right.
However, it did, which is kind of neat that it actually, I think, went up against it in our episode that we did. I think, because I do think that 3 is the
Right.
4 Roses.
So out of the 4 Roses and the Blattons, which one's easier to find?
That's a great question. That's a really good question because
Oh my.
the 4 Roses that we used, it was a single barrel strength, which is
Right.
not just a single barrel.
No.
I have seen it. I'm not going to lie. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Haven't we?
No, we haven't seen the barrel proof.
I don't know. There's
We've seen single barrels. We've seen single barrel selects. We haven't seen.
I actually got a couple bottles of the barrel strength single barrel 4 Roses from Woodman's,
Okay.
and I've never seen Blanton's there. So I would
Right.
say Blanton's is harder to get than
But I think if you like are in a different area, I have a friend who lives up in Sheboygan, and for some reason he walks in his local liquor store and there's like they have Eagle Rare and they have Blanton's and
Okay.
all that stuff just chilling, and I'm like, what? And
yeah.
depends where you are.
he's
So it
the
does
lucky-
depend then.
Lucky friend. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no kidding. You're right though. The 4 Roses barrel strength
Right.
usually has to be like a store pick because it's a single barrel.
Yeah.
And it's aged for like the one I got
Maybe
was
I
aged for
haven't
11 years. Like this is a 4-year product where that's aging for 11 years. So that would, you would think, be harder to find.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great question though. So we had the Basil Hayden come out as losing against number 1,
And this is the 10-year.
and this is the 10-year. Yeah.
Still only 80 proof though.
Still only
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
It is. It's absolutely not.
How do you age something for 10 years and then water it down to 80 proof? The lowest you can have a bourbon.
Right.
So
They
is
just
that
want-
number 2?
This is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
The
And
only
you
thing-
like
That's the
that
one,
one.
and that's the one that I like.
You like that one.
I also wonder like if like they will ever come up with something that's like 100 proof. As
I don't
a
think so.
special
I've not
release
seen
or-
anything.
Like I've never seen a single barrel.
So what's the
Basil Hayden.
price point for this bottle?
So that's a $70 to $80 bottle.
Okay.
And then if you are in Kentucky, this Blanton's is
that one's
$45.
difficult.
45, right? But I mean, if you're up here in Wisconsin,
100, 120,
Exactly,
130,
yeah.
it's all over the place.
right,
Wow.
Because you can't find it.
right, Yep.
And the way that you get it in Kentucky, ideally, is to go to the distillery and be there on the day that they're allocated.
correct.
Right.
Yep.
Wow.
Because even if you go to the local liquor stores, they're still going to charge you 60, 70 down there. aren't
Exact-
they?
yeah.
They're not going to give it to you for 45.
No.
Because everyone drives in from
You'll
the area
never
to go
find
try
it
to
for
find it and buy
MSRP.
it, so.
Yep.
Other than at the distillery.
Right.
Yeah.
Very, very accurate statement. So we are out Blanton's and Basil Hayden. So we are going to move on to see what 1 versus 3 is all about with our playoff bracket style taste off.
Do you want to backwards try them or go?
However
from-
you want. Let's do that.
What?
Or you already did.
No, I haven't done anything.
Okay.
I just, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard.
You want to go back to one?
No. It's just
It doesn't matter. I was
I'm just saying finding a favorite between these two isn't even fair because one of them we already know is a rye. It's not even a bourbon.
That's a good
But
point.
we're talking favorites. We're not talking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These are just the favorites.
Right.
These are the past winners. So
Because if
it
we
shouldn't
use
matter.
biases, we would be like, oh, I'm more a hardcore bourbon guy, where it's
You
like,
showed me what lost.
right.
You
Which-
already showed me what these are.
Essentially.
Double
Yeah.
sniffing.
I mean, you still have to know the difference of them, I
They're
guess.
both amazing.
They're both, I mean, they are polarity, like, different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
However, they're good.
Let's find a
Right.
favorite.
Are
Like-
we doing
Right.
3?
Like, it really comes
We're
down to
doing
your
3.
preference.
We're doing
3?
3.
Yeah, let's go to 3. And now it's okay to finish them to find your favorite because they're going against each other and narrowing it down to the winner. That is so good.
They're both so good. And I know what they are now. I 100% know. There's no question which
No,
is which.
no, there's not.
I know which is which.
Yep.
And the weird thing is I say my because I love Angel's Envy Rye and Caribbean Rum Cask. I love that.
It's
People
delicious.
talk about ryes. I'm like, dude, you gotta try this
Yeah.
rye.
Seriously.
You gotta.
It used to be $100. Now it's like down to 64 or,
I
65.
haven't seen it that low recently. I've been looking at 75.
Okay.
That's where I usually.
No,
I
I've
found
seen
it
it.
at 80.
I'm
My
so
first
I think
bottle,
we
I
paid
paid
$100.
95
Yeah.
or
For it.
something. My first bottle, I
Like
did.
in Louisville, we paid like
Yep.
$100 for it.
Yeah.
We bought it
I did too.
at
Where it's
Angel's
made.
Envy.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's come down, thankfully, because
Thank
it is
goodness.
delicious.
Yeah.
It really is. Like I said before, you're not allowed to add additives to bourbon. You're not allowed to add sugars or like sweeteners at all. However, you can
Finish 'em.
get sweetness off of a barrel used
Right.
previously for another
Which is
alcohol.
Which is pretty crazy that a finish can do so much
Yeah.
difference. You
Yeah.
know, because there's no duration that they say you can or can't finish something in. You know, like,
Correct.
Do you
how
have a
many years
guesstimate
is
of
it?
which is the rye and which is the bourbon?
I'm gonna say 1 is the bourbon,
Okay.
and I'm telling you, I just smelled 1 again, and it smells awesome. It's the best smelling one out of all these, in my opinion.
It is.
Yep.
It's just amazing. The notes are
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. To me, it's maple syrup, and I love maple syrup.
It's like, where's my pancakes?
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
my wife already looks at me like I have an issue. Like if I start putting bourbon on pancakes, she's really gonna be like, "All right, something has to stop."
You
No,
could just
you
use
make
the
it
bourbon cream.
No, you
on
make
your
a
pancakes.
bourbon pecan drizzle for your pancakes, and then it's cooked, right? Then it's okay.
Yeah, you're right. It's it's reduced.
Boy, this is tough for me because I almost feel like if we would have went 1-3, I'd go one direction, but
Sure.
because we went 3-1, I'm going a different
And you
direction
can,
now.
if you have any left, you can do that. I don't know if you do.
I don't
Oh, they're gone.
actually.
And that's why I kind of was like, do we want to
Man.
restart or do you want to go backwards? Because
Right.
we just did 2, like I'd say like kind of heavyweights, kind of in the same similar like area.
Yeah.
And then trying to go back to the other one.
They're both really good,
They really are.
but
I'm
now-
struggling because they're different.
They're very
Right.
different.
It really does come down to preference because they're really good. These are winners.
I like
These are
them both
winners
for
of
different
other
reasons.
episodes,
Right,
you know. So it's gonna always be tough when we're taking the best of the best and putting them up against each other. It really comes down to your preference. I think we
know
come
where
up to a
I'm
vote,
going.
and
I know
hopefully
where
we
I'm
don't
going.
tie.
I don't want to vote. I don't want to.
You have to vote.
You do.
You do have to vote.
You don't want your voice being heard? Or is it a tie for you? It's like, I'm fine with either one. And if it's so, then it'll be the three of us, and then there won't be any tiebreakers. So, I mean, but if you want your voice to be heard...
Can I wait till you all vote, and then
Yes.
I'll tell you what I
Sure.
think?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's
Because I
fair.
know which one I
No,
want.
it's going to
that's
be 1,
fair.
2, 3, and everyone holds up a
Right.
finger. That's how it's going to work.
I like that idea. I like that idea of her waiting because
Okay.
I'm voting for number 1,
Okay.
and it comes down to the smell again. Coming back to it,
But how wild is it that you can
I really
appreciate
like
it now?
3.
When you first tried one, you went, woo.
yeah,
That's a
Yeah.
great point.
You know?
He actually
Yeah.
picked something else to beat that, but now he's taking this to
Right.
take
And
it.
a few minutes ago, in my mind, I really like 3, but
Yeah.
now that I went back to
Right.
1 and the smells
Right.
and the sweetness
Yep.
to it, it's an easy pick for me actually.
Yeah, because I mean, like you started warming up your taste buds. You got started. Everything's clicking and moving, and everything's awake
Yeah.
now.
And it's not that number 3's bad. I like
Nope.
number 3 as
No,
well.
none of these are
but
bad.
Those are 2 in my. And again, I'm the most inexperienced one over here.
You got to stop saying that.
Yeah.
But they are totally.
We respect you.
Those are 2 very different, completely different.
They are.
animals.
Yeah.
And
They
like
are,
I
in my
said,
opinion.
we already know that one's a rye and one's a bourbon.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, like I said when we first started, it's like I am a firm believer that you cannot truly taste a bourbon or a whiskey off of one taste. You have to taste it again. Like you were like, oh, I'm not a fan of it. And then you come back to it and you're like, now I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
You know?
I do.
Right.
So, okay, we got a 1.
I like 1 as well.
Oh, man, I'm going 3.
Here, it already won. 1-1.
You like 1?
I like 1.
Okay. All right, I'll be the
Like I
outcast.
said, I love Angels and
I do too.
But weren't we looking at each other earlier, going, "Boy, 3"? I think.
I told the
3.
camera
think
1.
3.
I did. I just said,
Oh, did you?
I said,
I won't vote. Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad we came out to.
Fantastic. For a
Grab
different
bottles
Yeah,
just
we'll
to
bring out the
double check
bottles.
to make sure.
Exactly.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
that be a thing?
Right.
She's like, I love Angel's Envy, and it's like, oh no.
Oh, no,
no.
you picked the
I was
Four
wrong.
Roses.
Yeah, we'll bring those bottles out. We got the number 3, which lost out to number 1, was the Four Roses single barrel strength. And we've talked to Dan. You know, we actually picked this out at the party, being like, this is going to win out of his 8 bottles. This probably would have won all of them.
Which is wild compared to what it was all up against. The
Right.
other 7 bottles
Yeah.
we
We had
tried.
E.H.
that night.
Taylor, we had Blanton's, we had
Eagle. We had
Michter's.
Victor's
Yeah.
Bullet tenure.
We had,
Bullet 10.
We had
Yeah.
Olfo.
Like, this beat a lot of great things, and this
Did
thing
we?
just got beat. This thing just got beat.
Right.
So this was aged 8 years, 6 months. It's 57.5% alcohol, which I'm horrible with math. It's 115 proof. So, yeah, and it went against, an 80 proof Basil Hayden. It went against, I think, Blanton's
93.
93. Yep. So, I mean, it's heated, but when you taste it, it's not like knocking you on the floor. It's
Right.
like it's really approachable for 115 proofer, which is
Right.
pretty impressive. Like Four Roses single barrel strength is a fantastic bottle.
Yes.
And
And on that note, if you were going to give somebody a bottle and you don't know what to get them and you've got a higher price point that you're willing to spend,
Right.
impressive.
that's a fantastic point. You're right. They're not going to look at you and go,
Yeah.
why would you think I like that? Like,
Yeah.
they're going to love it.
The
Like, it's,
interesting thing too I found this one is that they specify that they have a 35% rye mash bill. So some of that different flavor might be coming from a higher rye content inside
Yeah.
there instead of using like malt or whatever.
yeah. No, that's a great point. And then what came out on top was the Angel's Envy Rye, which, Josh wasn't able to make it for this tasting, but both he and we really find this thing delicious.
Yeah.
And apparently you guys do too. I mean, I didn't end up picking this one based on the Four Roses, but I'm not upset that this thing
Right.
won because it's delicious.
And I will say, availability wise, that one is probably the easiest to get your hands on.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You're 100% correct. Yep.
Right now.
Yeah.
Out of all of them.
Yes.
Out of all of them. Like the Bland's is hard to get. This is hard to get. Even the Basil Hayden 10 year is hard to find.
Right.
Like,
But you can go to any Pick and Save or Woodman's or.
But doesn't it disappear in the fall?
I don't know.
I don't
if it
know
will,
either.
Because I think the reason why we were having problems finding it is because like the whole aging 4 years during COVID thing, and since we're through that, now they have more.
Because it was originally a limited release.
Yes.
And I think it was so popular that they've been making more to the point that it is easier to find. It is a better price point because you mentioned that it used to cost a lot more.
yes, it did. Yep.
Which is actually in these price ranges. And
Correct.
Now it's all below it.
Yeah. No.
So it's cheaper and easier to find. That sounds like a great
And
product.
it's pretty.
And
Look,
got
it's
a
got
pretty
the
bottle.
wings
Yeah.
on the
It's
back.
got wings. Like Red Bull.
I like it.
Makes you fly. No, I mean, rum is super like a sweet like alcohol.
Rum
you know,
is so interesting.
it is, and I find it really cool that they're taking a rye and they're mixing it. Like, I doubt it would taste like this if it was just a bourbon and mixing it with a rum.
Right.
You know, they're taking a rye which already has some like stronger, spicier notes, and then mix it with a super sweet like barrel, and it just marries and melds into this product, which we all picked. Well, not me, but you all picked to beat.
You picked it once tonight.
I did, yeah. I picked it as a winner
some
during
point.
this episode.
Yeah.
So I'm super happy with that. I love this bourbon. You guys made a great choice. It really is really good. What is the proof on that, by the way?
100.
One even.
Oh,
100 proof.
Nice.
yeah.
That's like, I'd say, a very approachable proof.
Yes.
I feel like you're having, like, this has got some heat to it, a little bit of warmth, but not like the basil where it's like, wish it had a little bit more zest to it.
And that's maybe why I, at first, thought too, like, for me was better because it was smoother. Like,
Sure.
Way smoother.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was a lower ABV.
Real low.
Yeah.
Lower proof.
Yeah.
So that's basically the same proof as like any bottle and bond, which
Yeah,
I love bottle and bond because of the
100%.
the proof on it and the aging that it takes. That's a fantastic bottle. So we all came together and we decided that Angel's Envy Rye is going to take this month's winner against other previous weekly winners. So congratulations, Angel's Envy Rye. If you can find this thing, definitely pick it out because it's
Absolutely.
delicious.
It's really good.
So thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll see you next episode.
Take it.